This is North Country Now, a daily dose of your hometown, all with a North Country feel, with anchor Kevin McCullough and reporters Jamie Kazlo and Alison Pandolfo. North Country Now, when you need a little northern exposure.
Coming up on today's North Country Now, we'll introduce you to a newspaper publisher from Hudson Falls and tell you why he's so controversial. We'll tell you how some of the North Country's landmarks got their names. Plus, the new handheld cell phone law begins today, and we'll speak with cell phone company representative David Holle about the new rules and what they mean. All of that coming up on North Country Now. Hello, everyone. I'm Kevin McCullough. Welcome to North Country Now, the show that keeps you, the local viewer, in mind. We begin today with a trip to Fort William Henry to find out more about some of the changes that are planned there. And Jamie Kazlo joins us now with that story. Jamie?
Thanks, Kevin. Fort William Henry is trying to get back to its roots. Their current project is one that will allow visitors to get the feel of the original hotel. In the near future, you'll be able to stay at a hotel from the early 1900s. Maybe not the exact one, but very close. The Fort William Henry Corporation is adding on 100 hotel rooms in the exact location of the original 1911 hotel. And project manager Fred Austin is happy to be on board with this project.
It's great. We're standing basically close to the lobby of the original hotel that was built in the 1800s. That burned down in 1909. In 1911, they replaced it with a hotel that really didn't meet any of today's standards, small rooms, no private baths, things like that. That was torn down in the 60s. And we're standing essentially looking out at the view that all the old hotels had, and we want to replace it as closely as we can, essentially where it was, make it look as much as we can like it did, and more importantly, try to replace some of the ambiance of the big patios and the really big lobbies that look out at this gorgeous view of the lake. There's obviously a reason they were all here, and this is it.
Though the project is still in its very early stages, Austin says a computer estimating program puts the cost of the expansion to be around $3.5 million. But with Fort William Henry generating more revenue during the shoulder season, the project should easily pay for itself. I'm standing at the site where the new hotel is to be built, and as you can see behind me, there's a beautiful view of Lake George, one that the Fort William Henry Corporation is hoping will attract many new visitors.
Well, it'll help Fort William Henry. Our convention center has done very well. We bring in a large number of conventions, and in fact, we run out of rooms regularly on the site. So it will give us another 100 rooms or so here on the site to take care of our convention goers. It's also going to help out, I think, the whole village in terms of some anchor business that may help some of the other businesses that are around here do well.
The hotel expansion project will be brought to the Village of Lake George Planning Board in the near future for approval. If approved, the project will begin in September 2002 and be completed in 2003. But project engineer Fred Austin said that the time frame is flexible and that they want to do it right. Kevin?
Okay, thanks, Jimmy. Little time on that one.
That's right.
Say, if you've ever driven by the Veterans Monument in Glens Falls, or for that matter around the park in downtown Hudson Falls, you might have seen Antonio Cerro handing out his newspapers. Alison Pandolfo tells us what that's all about and why Cerro is so controversial to some people.
This is Antonio Cerro's 8th issue of the Liberty Proclaimer. With the help of a few others and an old printing press and folder, soon 10,000 copies will be ready for distributing.
We have different people that write. Basically, what we want to know are the people that have problems in any town, and let us know what the problem is. If need be, we will go down or up anywhere, and see what the problem is. And then we ask them to write their story.
The newspaper originated when Cerro decided it was time for the public to know what our Constitution and Declaration of Independence say.
Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For 10 years, Antonio has been holding weekly meetings at the Washington County Municipal Building for the same purpose, and his attendees encouraged him to start the Liberty Proclaimer.
did they have the right to bestow that power?
Once the ball got rolling, the idea for the paper was the easy part, but putting it together each month is a different story.
I bought 30 tons of paper, the press, the folder. I got enough paper for the next 5 years. We have some professional people that do some professional work for us, and it's great. You know, so far I don't have any complaint.
It usually takes several hours to print the paper and then fold it. When it is ready for distribution, Tony hands out the papers in public areas.
It may not be making a difference right now, but I'm hoping it'll make a difference later on.
Tony goes through all of this each month to let the public know about their rights.
I'm trying to re-educate the people in the knowledge of our Constitution, which is the base of our government. That's what formed our government. This is our Constitution. We have a big problem with our lawyers and our judges in this country. Some of them, they don't even read the briefs, and they make decisions. We have lawyers that have no problem lying in court, you know, to a judge to win a case. You know? They have no problem with that. So justice is not easy to attain.
He encourages the public to send in articles about any topic or problems regarding the law they may have.
If they do have one, they want to make it known, well, that's the outlet. You know, that's what we allow them to do.
He has received feedback, but he wants to get more varied opinions from the public.
Everything that I have received, whether it's on the street or through the mail or emails, they've all been positive. And I wish I would get some negative, you know, so I could engage them in a discussion through the paper.
And yes, it is very expensive to make all these newspapers, and so far all of the expenses have been out of pocket for the Cerros, although they have received some donations. Kevin?
Thanks, Alison. Looks like an interesting guy. Say, coming up next, we'll have a look at your weekend weather forecast, plus we'll find out what's in a name as we go to the Chapman Historical Museum. A little bit of clouds to introduce our weather forecast. And coming up later, there's our Chapman look ahead. Coming up later, there we are, talk about the new cell phone law with David Holle from Cingular Wireless. North Country Now will return.
North Country Now is brought to you by Glens Falls National Bank, celebrating its 150th year.
And now for your local North Country weather, not the Albany weather you'll see on the other stations. It may be November, but it's going to continue to feel like late September for another couple of days anyway. On Friday, variably cloudy skies with showers, highs up to 65 degrees. How about that? Chance of precip, 60%. Overnight lows down to only 48 degrees. Come Saturday and the weekend, mix of clouds and sun. Highs again in the 50s. 57 is the exact peg. No mention of rain here on Saturday. Then come Sunday, a little more seasonable temperatures will move in. Partly cloudy skies, highs in the upper 40s, lows in the low 30s, and that's the North Country weather. Say, if you've ever wondered how some of the local landmarks got their names, now's your chance to find out. Jamie Kazlo went digging to find out what's in a name.
From Big Cedar Swamp to French Mountain or Cooper's Cave, what's in a name? Have you ever wondered why these landmarks are named what they are? Even if you haven't, now's the time to learn. The Chapman Historical Museum is offering the exhibition Bloody Pond to Storytown, What's in a Name, now through January 2002. This will uncover the meaning of place names in Glens Falls, Queensbury, and the surrounding areas. Museum curator Rebecca Pelcher says anyone who is interested in the history of the area should come view the display.
If you live here, then you should really have an idea of what your community is all about, and the Chapman certainly can give you the local history and really talk about the roots of the community. Certainly within this exhibit, everyone has a favorite place, and so these are some of our favorite places, and we're giving you the origins of where those names came from.
The exhibition features many historical images from the development of the Adirondack Northway to maps that show the growth of the region. It also takes us through the transition of historical landmarks as technology emerged and changed. Executive Director of the Chapman Museum, Tim Widener, says the idea for this exhibit came about because of the growth the area has seen and the events that have taken place.
What's in a name? The original idea behind the project was the concept that the major events and the geography of a particular region help to shape that regional identity. And we looked at this region and we knew that there were a whole series of events that took place in the French and Indian War and the Revolutionary War, and those had really colored a lot of the names that still are in existence today. Rogers Rock, even the names of Lake George. Bloody Pond is something that's been around for since the time of the French and Indian War. Many people have no idea where those histories come from. And so we thought, let's take a look at the interesting names we can find in the surrounding area and then use them as the basis for an exhibition. And what we hope to get out of that is that, number one, people will learn more about their own community and what makes it unique. But secondly, we thought that it would help people to gain more of a sense of place. If you know more about your community, then it's easier for you to relate to the environment that's around you and to feel a sense of pride in that community.
There will also be featured guest speakers throughout the period of the exhibit. Widener also wants visitors of the exhibit to be proud of their area, as well as have an appreciation of the history that has taken place over the years.
Well, I think one of the things that we can do for the Glens Falls, Queensbury community is help people to realize that there are a lot of things here that we can be proud of.
So from Bloody Pond to Storytown, what's in a name? Why don't you come to the Chapman Historical Museum and find out the name origin of your favorite place? And the exhibit runs through January 14th and is open to the public when the Chapman Historical Museum is open. Kevin?
Jamie, when you were sleuthing around up there, find out any details about any individual landmarks and how they got their names?
Yeah, one very popular one, Bloody Pond. Museum curator Rebecca Pelcher told me that story, and she said that it seems to be a favorite of the folks who came in, and I guess during the French and Indian War, there was a massacre up there, and they threw all the dead bodies into the lake, staining it red, and that's how it became Bloody Pond.
Hence the name.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jamie. Good to know, even if it is a little grisly.
That's right.
All right, we need to move ahead. Coming up next, we'll talk with David Holle of Cingular Wireless about the cell phone law that went into effect today. Yes, it's now the law of New York. If you have any questions, please give us a call. There's the number, 798-8000. And North Country Now will be right back with that.
You don't come on phone call.
Welcome back. New law went into effect today banning the use of handheld cell phones while driving in the state of New York. How will this affect you and what's it mean for the cell phone industry? Well, David Holle, area retail manager of Cingular Wireless, joins us now with some insight on that. David, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Is there some confusion out there about exactly what's in this new law?
There still seems to be some confusion. We still have customers of Cingular Wireless coming into our stores and calling us on the phone, and their interpretation of the new law is that the use of a wireless phone while operating a motor vehicle is now prohibited, that they can't use their cell phone. So it's our job to educate them and try to explain a little bit why the law changed and so on.
And what's the correct version?
Well, the correct version is, as of today, November 1st, if you choose to use your wireless cellular phone while you're operating your motor vehicle, you're required now to use a hands-free unit. By that I mean you no longer can hold the phone up to your ear like you used to, that you'll have to use some type of device that will allow you to have both hands free so you can operate the vehicle.
What's the enforcement schedule?
The enforcement schedule, the way I understand it, is it's going to be in a couple of different stages. From now until November 30th, law enforcement officers that find motorists that aren't complying with the law are going to issue warning tickets. At that particular time, the motorist is going to have to go out and get themselves a wireless unit or a handset. I understand that as of December 1st, those warning tickets become $100 fines.
Ooh.
However, I also have read that...
Some bite in it then, yeah.
Well, I was just trying to get their attention because it is a new law.
But go ahead.
I understand then from December 1st until February 28th, if you are issued and you are a first-time offender and get a $100 fine, and you can show proof of purchase that you've gone out and bought a hands-free device, that they will in fact waive the $100 fine.
Any exceptions in the case of emergency?
Well, that is addressed as well, and their definition of emergency would be should you have to call the police department, the fire department, the hospital, doctor, those types of things.
But if you're just calling to say, I'm going to be home a little late, honey.
It's time for you to pick Lindsay up at soccer tonight does not constitute an emergency according to the new law, right?
Okay. What about people who have the older cell phones that are worried about whether their equipment's compatible with all of this?
Well, most of the equipment that's been manufactured since 1998 would in fact be compatible. What I would suggest to the cellular users, stop into any of the Cingular stores at any time. We'll evaluate the equipment that you have, go over whatever options might be available to you. We make it as easy as we can for them, and we're even offering new technology that's compatible as low as free right now. So we do it the best we can.
Okay, time for a little show and tell. What are some of the new devices that are compatible?
Well, I brought a couple with me today. The price ranges are anywhere from $9.99, which is the unit that I've got in my hand here. Simply an earbud that goes in your ear and plugs into the bottom of your phone and has a microphone capability right in the line itself. The next step up from that, the retail people like to refer this as the Jerry Maguire headset because it is in fact similar to the one that he wore, but this one here goes behind the ear, clips behind the ear, the earpiece goes in the ear, and the microphone is extended out from there. This one gives you the feature of being able to answer and hang up the phone right from the line itself. And finally, I brought one that is either desk-worthy, office-worthy, or you can use it in your car. And the way this works is it would plug into a wall outlet. This turns your phone into a speaker. When you're driving in your automobile now, you simply detach this, plug it into your cigarette lighter adapter. It comes with a microphone that could clip onto your visor or wherever you want to clip that onto, and use it as a hands-free device as well. This is $59.99. $29.99 and $9.99.
Okay, so you can get equipped for relatively little cost. You're out and about a lot. Is it your sense that people know about this law and are complying with it or not?
Well, I thought it was interesting between driving to work this morning and coming up here this afternoon to meet with you. I probably saw no less than 14 to 16 people that were just talking away as though things are business as usual and the law hasn't changed at all. So hopefully we can educate them, your program will educate them, and they'll be aware of the new law.
Okay. Is there the idea here is to minimize distractions. You know, a handheld cell phone isn't the only distraction going on a lot of cars. I guess the overall message is don't be distracted as a driver.
I think so, and as you well know, I mean, I pass people all the time that are eating and drinking soda and coffee and fixing their makeup, tending to their children, and etc. I think what it really comes down to is the drivers need to be responsible. We try at Cingular Wireless to educate them as you're doing today with this show.
Okay. Stay with us. We have to take a short break here, but we'll have more with David Holle, and we'll take your calls and questions as well. If you want to get in on this, to speak with David, please give us a call at 798-8000, and we'll get to that when North Country Now continues. We're back with David Holle of Cingular Wireless talking about the new cell phone law. We talked about how you saw people on the road who aren't obeying the new law, but is there interest in the stores? Are you seeing people come in asking for the new equipment?
Well, this is something that we've promoted for a long time, the safety and sensibility of using your phone while you're in your automobile. Frankly, yeah, people have come into our stores asking about the law, and we in return have bulked up our inventories in response to that. But now it's become so popular, the handset, the free handsets, is that whether you're on your computer or walking, taking your evening stroll or whatever, I just have found that people that use them will always use them. They're very comfortable and very convenient.
Broaden the subject a little bit. Since the terrorist attack, have you found that the public is more interested in staying in touch all the time?
Well, I think that's a given, and it's a difficult question to ask if it's had a direct impact in my business. Coincidentally, a couple of days after the tragedy, we introduced a new rate plan, a $19.99 rate plan that offered some free calling services with that. So I think our business would have increased anyway, but I have seen some change in some buying patterns. The mom and dad that have been coming in to buy for their children, now what we're finding is people my age are coming in and buying service to give to their mom and dad. A little bit of a reverse so that each of the parties can let the other know that everything's okay and they can stay in touch a little bit better.
Got just a few seconds left. Talk to me about the future of hands-free technology.
Future technology, it's endless at this point, but the one thing that you should see the beginning of 2002, probably by the first half of the year, is the same type of technology minus the wires. You'll have the earpiece and be able to be up to 30 feet away from your phone, and your earless bud will work just as good.
Okay, thanks for coming in and discussing it.
Thanks for having me.
David Holle is the area retail manager at Cingular Wireless. And with that, we thank you for joining us today. Please don't forget, you can watch North Country Now 4 times a day. We are at 6:30 a.m., 11:30 a.m., then the live program at 5:30 p.m., and again the tape rebroadcast of the 5:30 show at 10. So until next time, I'm Kevin McCullough. Thanks for watching. See you later.